All right, Chiefs Kingdom has got to be absolutely buzzing right now because it looks like the impossible might actually happen. Tyreek Hill, one of the biggest stars in the NFL, might be on his way back to Kansas City. And let me tell you, this is the kind of move that could change everything. We all remember what Hill brought to this team: electric speed, insane agility, and that game-breaking ability that made him a nightmare for defenses. During his time with the Chiefs, he was hands down one of the most dangerous weapons in the entire league. And now it feels like that long-awaited reunion is actually within reach. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Just picture this for a second. Tyreek Hill stretching the field with that ridiculous speed, while Patrick Mahomes stands back there dissecting defenses with pinpoint accuracy. Defenses would have no shot at stopping them. It would be an absolute nightmare for every single team in the league. With Hill back in the lineup, Travis Kelce dominating the middle of the field, and Andy Reid cooking up his signature creative play calls, the Chiefs would instantly have the most dangerous offense in the NFL. And let's be real, if Hill returns, the Super Bowl just starts to feel like an expectation rather than a dream. Kansas City has already been a dominant force over the past few seasons, but bringing Hill back into the mix would make them nearly unstoppable. Defenses wouldn't be able to cover all the weapons on the field. Hill's speed alone would open up so many opportunities, not just for Kelce, but for the other receivers as well. It would give Mahomes even more freedom to work his magic and put up points in a hurry. And speaking of making moves, we finally got the news we've been waiting for. Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones have officially agreed to restructure their contracts, freeing up a massive $49.26 million in salary cap space for 2025. That's right, almost $50 million freed up. That's a game changer. This move was absolutely essential for the Chiefs to go into free agency with some serious firepower, and they didn't waste any time making moves. The team has already signed left tackle John Moore and cornerback Christian Fulton, two key additions that strengthen critical positions. Moore is going to be a huge asset in protecting Mahomes, while Fulton brings much needed depth to an already strong defense. But here's the thing. The impact of these moves goes way beyond just these signings. This newfound financial flexibility allows the Chiefs to lock in key players for the future, work out crucial contract extensions, and keep this team competitive for years to come. And if there's one guy who knows how to manage the cap and build a powerhouse roster, it's Brett Veach. Since taking over as general manager, Veach has been a master strategist, always finding ways to keep this team loaded with talent without crippling the franchise's financial future. This restructuring of Mahomes and Jones' contracts is just another example of how he keeps the Chiefs on top. The decision to free up nearly $50 million was executed with absolute precision. Not only does it allow for new reinforcements, but it also gives the team flexibility to handle injuries, make roster adjustments throughout the season, and plan for future contract extensions. Kansas City isn't just focused on this year. They're setting themselves up for sustained success. That's how dynasties are built. Veach's philosophy has always been clear. Keep a strong core. Bring in players who fit the scheme and always stay a few steps ahead of the competition. And speaking of leadership, Patrick Mahomes isn't just the best quarterback in the NFL. He's a true leader on and off the field. His willingness to restructure his contract proves that he's focused on the team's success, not just his own paycheck. He understands that to keep winning championships, he needs a strong supporting cast. Since signing that historic 10-year deal, Mahomes has always been flexible, making sure the Chiefs can stay active in the market when necessary. And the results speak for themselves. The Chiefs remain contenders year after year. Let's be honest. Mahomes is chasing rings, not stats. He's already financially set for life. Now it's about cementing his legacy. This restructuring is just another example of his commitment to the long-term success of this team. And if Mahomes is the heart of the offense, then Chris Jones is the soul of this defense. His decision to restructure his contract speaks volumes. He could have easily pushed for a massive payday, but instead he made the choice to prioritize the team. That's what leaders do. Jones understands that continuity and balance on both sides of the ball are key to sustained success. His decision ensures that the Chiefs can keep investing in the defense and adding pieces to make this unit even stronger. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Now, with all this extra cap space, the big question is, who else could the Chiefs bring in? With John Moore and Christian Fulton already locked in, it's clear that the front office is focused on reinforcing key areas, but there's still room for more big moves. One area to watch is the wide receiver position. Outside of Kelce and Rashee Rice, Mahomes could really use another reliable target. Adding another weapon to the receiving corps could take this offense to an even higher level. And on the defensive side, Adding depth to the defensive line could ensure that the Chiefs keep the pressure on opposing quarterbacks all season long. This financial flexibility gives Kansas City everything they need to stay aggressive in free agency and keep building a championship caliber roster. And it doesn't just affect free agency. The structuring of these contracts also impacts the upcoming 2025 NFL draft. With some of the immediate needs being addressed in free agency, Beach and the front office now have the freedom to take a more strategic approach in the draft. The Chiefs have a strong track record of finding gems in the draft, and with this extra flexibility, they can focus on securing long-term reinforcements at key positions, maybe adding depth to the secondary, bolstering the offensive line, or finding another playmaker for Mahomes. As the 2025 NFL draft approaches, the Chiefs front office is laser focused on evaluating prospects to strengthen the roster and keep their Super Bowl window wide open. This year's draft is a big one. Every decision matters. So who are some potential targets that could be rocking the red and gold next season? One name that stands out is Josh Connolly Jr. from the University of Oregon. The left tackle position is an area of focus, and Connolly has the skill set to be a game changer. At 6'4" and 315 pounds, he's got the size and agility to handle elite pass rushers. What makes him unique is his background. He was a high school running back, which has given him quick feet and the ability to adjust on the fly. Last season, he allowed just 1 sack and 2 quarterback hits over 523 pass blocking snaps. That's the kind of reliability the Chiefs need to keep Mahomes protected. Now, there are some concerns about his arm length and how he matches up against bigger rushers, but the Chiefs have already conducted a formal interview with him, which means they're seriously considering him to anchor the O-line. Another offensive lineman on the Chiefs' radar is Caleb Etienne from BYU. He set up a top 30 visit with Kansas City, signaling that the team is looking hard at ways to solidify the front five. His performance at the NFL Combine showed off his strength, technique, and ability to handle pressure. Qualities that could make him a solid depth piece or even a future starter. On the defensive side of the ball, Ty Robinson from Nebraska is another name to watch. At 6'6" and 310 pounds, he's built to be a problem for opposing quarterback. The Chiefs' defensive line is already strong, but adding a player like Robinson would give them even more depth and versatility, especially when it comes to pressuring the quarterback and stopping the run. Kansas City is also exploring options at wide receiver. With some key players potentially leaving in free agency, the Chiefs need to ensure Mahomes has enough weapons. The recent NFL Combine showcased several promising prospects who could fit into the offense and give Mahomes more targets to work. Then there's tight end Colston Loveland from Michigan. With Travis Kelce's retirement on the horizon, the Chiefs are thinking about the future. Loveland has the skill set to be a natural successor to Kelce, and bringing him in could make for a seamless transition whenever Kelce decides to call it a career. The Chiefs have plenty of draft capital this year, which means they have options. GM Brett Veach has been clear. Kansas City needs players who can contribute right away, especially after last season's Super Bowl loss. Every move in this draft will be about making sure the team bounces back stronger. Now let's talk trades. The Chiefs aren't just looking at the draft to improve the roster. They're also keeping an eye on trade opportunities. One of the biggest rumors floating around involves a potential move for wide receiver DK Metcalf. Reports suggest Kansas City is exploring the possibility of trading for the Seahawks star who is entering the final year of his contract. Metcalf is a 2-time Pro Bowler with a rare combination of size, speed, and playmaking ability. If he lands in Kansas City, Mahomes would have a legitimate deep threat that could make the Chiefs' offense even more dangerous. And then there's the idea of a reunion with Tyreek Hill. I know Hill has downplayed the idea of a return, but some analysts believe a trade could still be in the cards. Hill already knows the Chiefs system, and his chemistry with Mahomes is undeniable. If he comes back, the offense instantly becomes one of the most explosive in the league. All of these moves, whether through the draft or trades, are about one thing, chasing another Super Bowl. The Chiefs already have 2 championships under Mahomes, and now they're aiming to make history. The last team to win 3 straight Super Bowls, the Green Bay Packers in the 1960s. Could this be the Chiefs' time to do it? With Mahomes, Chris Jones, Andy Reid, and Brett Veach leading the charge, that dream is more alive than ever. Of course, making big moves isn't just about football. It's also about money. Right now, the Chiefs are roughly $16.09 million over the salary cap for the 2025 season. To make room for trades and signings, the front office is working on restructuring contracts. And Mahomes, he's leading the way. Mahomes has already agreed to a contract restructure that frees up $2.06 million in in cap space. That might not seem like a huge number, but every bit helps when it comes to retaining key players and making improvements to the roster. Meanwhile, the Chiefs are also dealing with stadium drama. After a funding vote for renovations at Arrowhead failed, the organization is looking into other options. Mahomes and Kels have both spoken in favor of a new stadium, highlighting the benefits of a modern facility that could host year-round events and generate more revenue. But leaving Arrowhead, that's a tough pill to swallow. It's been the heart of Chiefs Kingdom since 1972, and for many fans, the idea of moving on from that history is a hard one to accept. And let's address a common narrative. Some people think Mahomes gets all the calls in his favor, but the numbers tell a different story. In 2024, Mahomes was actually one of the least favored quarterbacks when it came to roughing the passer penalties. He drew just 3.53 penalties per 100 hits, while Tua Tagovailoa led the league with 732. That just goes to show Mahomes isn't getting any special treatment from the refs. And on a personal note, Mahomes has been dealing with some challenges off the field too. Reports indicate that his grandfather's health has been declining, which had to be a tough emotional weight to carry during the playoffs. Despite that, he stayed locked in, leading the Chiefs through intense postseason matchups and proving once again why he's one of the best leaders in the game. It's awesome, man. So Chiefs Kingdom, what do you think? Should the team make a move for DK Metcalf or try to bring Tyreek Hill back? Should the Chiefs move to a new stadium, or is it more important to preserve the history of Arrowhead? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates from Chiefs Kingdom. I'll see you in the next one.